Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Today we're going to be doing a new series about film holders for scanning your film. Basically, there's a new wave of holders to basically help you digitize and scan your film with a digital camera. And it started with multiple solutions throughout the years. Nowadays, there's way more than ever. And today we're going to be talking about the Abdi camera FC-35 120 module. I'm going to start off by saying, full disclosure, this was sent to me by Abdi. He's not going to say anything about what I'm saying in this review. There's actually going to be some bad news about it. So I hope you understand that I'm doing this full disclosure for you guys. So when you're going to buy something like this, you know what you expect. Also, there's going to be timestamps because there's going to be a longish video about different parts of the holder and with different tests about scratching film, film flatness, about the ease of use, the different modules, price, and all that. So I'm going to leave those so you can check the chapters. First thing, when you check the Abdi FC-35 120 and you look at the pictures and you look at the price, it looks too good to be true. Honestly, I was very excited to see it. And when I mentioned it in the news, I actually talked to him and he offered to send me one, and that's why we have it here. So it's very simple. It comes in this little box, wrapped. It's made out of aluminum, which gives a very nice feeling to the quality. These two rails, and then it has these basically spacers. There's two spacers that do 35 and two spacers that do medium format 120 film. Then all you have to do is set those spacers with the different modules. So I'm using the 35 in this case, and you stick it, it has magnets, and there you go, it's set up. So ease of use to set up is amazing. Very, very easy to get started and start scanning. So the first thing you want to know is the price. The Abdi sells for 149 US dollars. It's made in Florida. So if you're going to ship it to your country, maybe you have customs and fees, but $149 for two different basically formats. You do 35 and 120. So that takes us to formats. It can do 35 millimeter film in a panoramic or normal size frames. You can also do 120 up to basically, I would say roughly 6x9 to 6x12. So it does many formats and very easily. And then the general workflow. This is to give you a quick summary. General workflow actually is very nice. You just kind of feed the film through and you start scanning very easily. The only problem, there's a minimal little design flaw that actually makes it a bit of a pain to use, and you'll see that later. Then we have film first setup. What does this mean? It means how easy it is to start your roll scanning. So the moment, as you saw, building the little device is easy, but then feeding the film is a major pain due to miscalculation in the design. If they would have used this for a couple frames, they would have noticed that making the film gate a little wider at the ends would have made our life much, much easier. For that reason, I think this actually is a very flawed design. Then we have the film light bleed, which basically means, does the holder block the light when you're doing your first frame? Actually, if you have your camera centered to the middle, yes, it will bleed with the first frame if the strip is being cut. But if you don't mind putting it all the way to the end, you can basically scan your film on one edge and then reposition it to the middle and keep on scanning frame per frame. Advancing is very simple. It's manual. There's no knobs. There's no advancing with a mechanical part. You basically just hold your film from one side and pull or push from the other side, and then just stop it where you want it and take your pictures. The next issue is film flatness, probably a thing that most people want to know. The Abdi actually holds the film in 4 different sides, so it should be very flat, but the problem is they're all in the same level, so there's no S curve or double S curve to kind of break down that combing of the film. So 35 millimeter film, actually if it's curved, it will do what it wants because it has a pretty big film gate, and 120 very similar, as it's a very big film gate. It doesn't really stop it. If your film is pretty flat, you'll be fine, but if your film has a bit of a curve, it won't do anything to fix that due to it just being a straight line for scanning. Build quality with the Abdi is actually pretty good. When you look at it, it's aluminum, machined aluminum on the sides, and then it has these spacers which are made from some sort of 3D plastic material, but it's not really 3D. It looks like it's laser cut or water cut, and then it has the ends that are basically some plastic or metal with some magnets. It feels very good to the hands, but to me there's a couple flaws. First of all is the one that does the film bridge where the film goes through. It kind of scratches your film. And another one is the fact that it's missing rubber feet. So when you're trying to reposition your film or advance, every single frame you're going to have to keep the holder either taped to your light table or held with your hand, which with just 4 rubber feet it would have been fixed. You can actually put them yourself if you want, and that would fix most of the advancing and repositioning for the Abdi. So yeah, build quality is good, but with some design flaws. Another thing that a lot of people want to know is the minimum strip to scan, because like the negative supply, usually it takes a while. You can't use like a 2 film strip or anything like that. Due to the, pretty much hand-on design of the Abdi, it's very easy to do even 1 frame at a time. You're just gonna have to feed it and accompany it from the very beginning, put it on one side or the other, or if you're doing 2 frames, the same thing. So it's not, you can't like have a problem scanning small film strips, but it's more manual because this is a very manual device. The next thing would be, is it modular or not? Like I said, this is a 35 and 120 modular design. It uses the same carrier for the sides, and the only thing you're changing are the spacers. So it is modular. Another thing that also maybe you want to know, is it a system? Abdi makes this 35 and 120 and then makes the 4x5 version, which is a little longer because of the 4x5, but there's not such thing as light table, a static brush holder, or like mounting for your camera, anything like that. So it's not an ecosystem. It only has 2 different devices. One very important thing that I think is repetition. So when you're scanning and you're trying to do multiple shots of a roll of 35, or you're scanning 120 in one batch, maybe doing 4 or 5 rolls, this device actually is a bit flimsy because what I mentioned, the lack of rubber feet and the weight make it move easily on your light table. So every time you're advancing, you're either going to have to like tape it, like I said, or put the rubber feet or hold it down and push the film through so it's in the same spot. If not, you're going to have to reposition every single time to take the shot, which makes it a little slower, in my opinion, to other competitors. Diffuser is not built into the Abdi, so you actually won't be able to maybe scan with something like an iPad or an iPhone or just a window light. You might want to use a layer of diffusion, be it like a white piece of paper or cloth, or a light table that already diffuses the light. Film scratching is something you never want to hear about your film. Basically, when you develop your film and it's dry and maybe stored, you don't want to have anything that will scratch it in any way, be it scanning, be it manipulation. Usually you use gloves to evade that finger grease and all that. So basically, this device, after using a blank roll and moving it back and forth maybe 4 or 5 times, I've seen obvious scratches on the film. That to me is due to the film gate that basically comes in contact with the film, and it should do some rollers, some maybe rubber little feet that would help advance, and that would just make it so much easier. I do know it would probably push the cost of the device, but to me, that this design scratches your film, even if it's in 3 or 4 passes, is a big no. So if I was going to get one of these devices and I saw that, I would not buy it anymore. Or if I bought it and it scratched my film, I would not recommend it anymore. So from my experience of moving a blank roll a couple of times back and forth in 35 and 120, I've seen scratches on both. So honestly, I can't recommend that, and I think I should never be mentioning this on a video review, but honestly, I saw it and I thought it's important, and from now on, every device I test, I will check if it scratches your film. As it touches certain parts of the holder, it does scratch, sadly. So ease of use is very, very simple. You just have to put your film through, which takes a little finessing because of what I told you, design problems. But then once you have it, it's just pushing to the next one, repositioning and scanning. So ease of use is very simple. It doesn't really need any manual or instructions for it. And there's actually none on their website, which I think is kind of a flaw of the product. Could have had a bit more information. I've only seen a couple of videos on YouTube reviewing this, saying that it works amazing. I'm sorry to very strongly disagree with them. I think this device has some big flaws. Then footprint. Footprint, as you saw, is extremely small. This you could actually even travel with. You can put it in your little drawer or store it anywhere. So I think footprint is pretty nice, but also maybe one of the issues of it is that it's too lightweight, maybe too flimsy, that it moves around when you're scanning. So what's the conclusion on the Abdi 35-120? I think the proof of concept is really good. I think that they had a great idea here. There was no Kickstarter campaign. There was no hype coming before it. It was just a well-designed, well-executed product that missed some major things. So I looked at it. It looked good with a couple little, things. Maybe Abdi Mark II. It would be pretty much a perfect design. I think it just needs to include that wider film gate at the beginning and the end so you can load your film without problems. I think it should have some sort of curve to maybe isolate the film on a flat, surface so it just has no curvature. I think the little film gate that goes through, your film goes through it, should not scratch your film, and maybe some rubber feet. With those little changes, I think the Abdi could be a very, very good system to recommend to people. Yes, it doesn't have a light diffuser. Yes, it has no static brush or anything like that. But for $149, I think it could be a very, very strong product, even for $200 compared to maybe something higher end like a negative supply, which is a different product and maybe uses a different use. But this product is basically has the potential to be a disruptor for that, for people that don't have such a big budget and maybe want a solution for 35 and 120 for less than $200. But yeah, those little problems to me are way too much of a deal breaker for the Abdi. So I can't recommend this to anyone. Maybe if you don't really mind, you're just going to put your film in once and scan and that's it. And you don't mind if it has a little bit of a curvature, and you don't mind if it gets scratched, and a couple other minor issues that you might not have. Maybe it's the thing for you, but I think there are other products out there that might work better for sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. So there'll be more videos on the series. Also, I'm going to leave some pictures comparing scans from the Canon R and a Nikon macro lens, and compare to the Noritsu HS1800. So, make sure you finish the video, watch the differences. I'm not comparing scanning results as of this video. I'm just talking about the device, the ease of use, and how it is. I think the scanning results on your own end should be very different depending if you're using what camera, what lens, what light setup, and all those things. And I think there's a lot more to that. I might do a roundup of all the devices I have and compare them to see which one is the best for scanning your film. But considering that this holder kind of scratches your film, I'm not too inclined to show a lot of use from it. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Remember, this show is basically sponsored by Patreon. So if you want to see me testing other products, maybe scratching my own negatives so you guys don't have to scratch, consider supporting this show. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.